Hello, 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 hello. Let me know if you can hear me and see me. It's great to be back. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's great to be back. It's great to be back. I really do enjoy our little chats here Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. I got a lot. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I got a lot of stuff on my mind here, and I'm going to try to um, just kind of go through it all. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on, as you can kind of tell a little bit from the title and the thumbnail, there's some things I'm really excited about to chat about. There's some things that I think in general now, almost like 6 weeks from out of 6 weeks since WordCamp US, there's been a lot of really interesting times in the WordPress space, and I feel like I'm just coming in here. I came at a very interesting thing, so cool. Appreciate it, John. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. So my plan today, as you can kind of see, maybe in the description, everything like that, and kind of from the thumbnail, and like I said in the title and everything, is I would really love to get an idea from you guys watching what your kind of thoughts and um, your current vibe and your status on like WordPress in general is. It's been a very, as I said, an interesting and heated time in a lot of different ways for just the last 6 weeks. And everything in my mind's just spinning because I'm thinking about the client websites that I still have on WordPress. I'm thinking about my WordPress websites. I don't think WordPress is like necessarily going away or anything, but it's a little bit bigger than that in a sense of, just like the overall, again, the vibe and sort of your mental state, like while you're on and in dealing with any of this stuff. If you're totally removed from it, right? If you don't watch like any of the happenings on X or anything like that, or on Facebook, then it's kind of like it doesn't super affect you. But if you're at all tapped into it, then it's just kind of like it does get exhausting. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was kind of exhausted with it about a week and a half ago, and I had to like kind of just do other things. And then now it just like keeps coming. Like it just doesn't stop. It's actually kind of impressive how it just doesn't stop. So, Ruben, good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so I got a lot of different ideas, a lot of different things to kind of chat about here. So I don't have like a specific. There are a couple specific things I'm really interested in. We will talk about the SureCart invoicing feature because that was extremely needed. And the more and more that I play around and use SureCart, it's on my site right now, and there is this invoicing feature which is has not it's been released in like the main like 2 point whatever version, but it's not released in like the 3.0 version. So right now where you're at is like if you're using the release candidate and you're testing that, then you have like custom fields and stuff like that, but you don't have the invoicing thing, and vice versa if you go the other end. So point is that I'm pretty bullish on SureCut. Like the thing is impressive. From everything that I've used it in production and testing, everything like that. So I want to talk about some of those things because I think it could be very pertinent to a lot of you guys if you end up wanting to go that route and use that, as opposed to like something like Woo. So that's kind of an idea. We got Michael here. I kind of followed, but it's not really affecting me personally. I'll just let this resolve in court. Yeah, it's something that again, it doesn't affect us all directly, and I think I've said this before, but it's like more like I want to kind of keep an eye on certain things. One, to see if they do end up affecting me in some way, because I don't want to be like completely naive that like it'll never affect me. But at the same time, the other thing is I try to learn from these experiences and be like, well, if I was ever in these situations, even not at that scale, but just in general, kind of like what would I do differently? Do I agree with it? Disagree with it? So that's kind of the way that I work out. So, Steve, good to see you as well, brother. WordPress is still super powerful, not going away anywhere anytime soon. I stay the hell out of the drama as much as I can. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. All right. Well, let's talk about some stuff here. And let me go over to here. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is just WP Town Hall. Mine and Kevin Geary's podcast that we got rolling here. Funny enough, interestingly, this is always like a fun little test, like when you start up something new, like see what it's like. Also, happy Halloween to anybody that celebrates Halloween. This is always a fun test. You just throw just the name in there. Obviously, we're not ranking for anything specifically, but just to kind of see like how your all almost I would call like your technical SEO is kind of like going just as a brand. So it's kind of cool that like when you put together a brand name that's like not very that's kind of unique in a way that hasn't been done before. It's like pretty quickly you can get just like some solid things. And like we mentioned in YouTube videos, and because that right there, that WP Town Hall is like the only place that you can kind of see a lot of that stuff. It's just kind of cool that it comes up pretty quickly and pretty, ubiquitously. It's kind of cool. So, but yeah, if you're interested in that, you can subscribe on any podcasting platform, anything like that. I don't think the actual website is showing up here just yet, but if you just go to WP Town Hall /show or .show there. Booyah. There you go. You can go check that out. Yeah, we did our third episode yesterday, which was really interesting. We're talking about Gutenberg and the block editor and how it's like has or hasn't harmed more people than it has helped. A lot of really interesting insights there. It's not posted yet on the on the RSS feed for the podcast and everything like that, but it will be soon. And yeah, just I'm really enjoying that. If you haven't checked that out yet, guys, when you do go here, also random other thing, just as I'm in here. Last week I was talking about this website. I was talking about the little dynamic piece here for the next show. I didn't actually check that as it was happening, but obviously it's gone now. So that means that thing is working, which is fantastic. But yeah, like if you go to this website, the next show will be here, and we do them live on X. So in X Spaces, so you guys can chime in. Like if you listen to any of these other ones, it's not just me and Kevin talking. It's other people in the community like stepping up to the mic and giving their thoughts. So really, really excited about the the future of this, because I think this could be a really cool way to bring the community together and get different insights. So yeah, just definitely go check that out. Love to see you guys there. Again, it's on X. We're doing them weekly, so we're not sure when the next one is going to be next week yet, but rest assured it will be. So. Brendan, good to see you here, brother. Good to see you. Michael, I was kind of excited for Command UI, but since there's no lifetime deal and it's just a convenience plugin, I decided to skip. Yeah, I was talking about Command UI last week, and I got. So there's a couple things we can kind of touch on that too here as we get into some of this stuff. So I do want to kind of I want to kind of go back to my thing where I kind of go through some of these, just kind of the happenings of the week. I think that was kind of a cool thing to do. I want to let me switch over to here for a second. There was a couple interesting. Let's talk about Command UI for a second. Last week I was on the stream and Calvin popped in because I was interested in it. I checked it out live. And Calvin had been telling me about it for like a month, like as he was building it. He was like kind of showing me some different stuff, and I thought it was really cool. I was on the wait list, and I got the email as well to kind of like go check out the deal and everything like that. I've seen mixed feedback for like the pricing and the structure and the way that is all dealt. And I'm going to give you, from the things that I've seen, there was a couple comments on my live stream last week, and then now seeing it and everything like that. I'm going to give you kind of my overall just thoughts on not specifically Command UI, not just specifically Command UI, but just like this concept in general of like pricing plugins and everything like that. Here's how I think of it. I've never had like a plugin, but I'm trying to think about it kind of logically, and I want to hear you guys' feedback on this. If it's a plugin that I, as a developer, let's say like I was building a product and I have to build this product. So I took the time to build the product, and then I also have to like support the product if anybody like has any emails or anything like that, or if I have to, like continue to upgrade the product and things like that, like add more features and stuff. Like, I mean, the LTD thing, I've always been so split on that because I love it as a consumer. I totally get that. But at the same time, I think if I'm on the other end of it and I was a business person and I wanted to like make sure that my cash flow made sense for me to continue to support this plugin and not go broke, then I wouldn't want to create a situation where somebody pays me one time and then has access to the product forever, when the value of the product could continue to go up and up, but I'm not getting any of it. I understand the counter argument to it. And maybe there's like a nice little middle ground there. But that's just kind of where I'm at with that. I can't fully get behind like LTDs from a plugin developer perspective, because maybe at first, in a very limited quantity, But as you continue to move forward, it's like, how do you, let me give you a different analogy, because this is something that like I personally have dealt with and I've thought about heavily. Let's say that you are a web developer or designer or whatever you call yourself, right? Like a page builder, okay? So you're building websites for clients. Now, I've been in this situation, maybe you guys haven't, but I've been in this situation where I create the problem for myself. It's really bad. I've created the problems for myself where I have set expectations with my clients, sort of like unintentionally, but those expectations were set that, hey, yeah, if you send me over a couple pictures or something like that, or da 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 da, whatever, if you want to change some stuff on a page, then yeah, I'll do that. That's included or whatever. Like the whole thing where you like include time in your website care plan or something like that, right? The problem is, as soon as you extend past the scope, as soon as you allow the scope of those like changes or whatever to creep outside of the actual, like the box, so to speak, that you've created, then you are literally not, you are literally creating a situation where if that continued to happen at scale, you are going to like run out of money and time, and you're not going to be able to serve the clients. Like think about the long game of scope creep. It's not like we want to make more money. I mean, that is the case, but we want to make enough money fairly, meaning that if you let scope creep get out of hand, everyone is going to get fucked from that. Okay. You are going to potentially like go crazy, but you're also going to lose money. You're going to lose time. You're not going to have enough time to go make more sales or make more money. And then what's going to happen is your client, if you allow scope creep to happen like that, I'm trying to make this analogous to the plugin thing, but if you allow that to happen, then the client at some point, when you run out of money, run out of time, and you go out of business, then they're just going to have to go find somebody else, and it's going to be a pain in the ass for them too. So this is one way that I've kind of explained this to clients, saying like, listen, I know these updates aren't like huge or whatever, but I have to, at worst case scenario, I have to like bill you at least hourly for this because I can't be doing free work. Now, I hope that that analogy kind of makes a little bit of sense. Maybe it's a little bit different with software, but ultimately, you have to think that like you can't just let you can't just do like work completely for free like in a business like that long term, regardless if it's support stuff or if it's adding features or what have you. I understand we all love LTDs. I mean, I have a fair bit of LTDs, but that's just kind of the way my perception has kind of shifted a little bit after seeing a lot of different perspectives on that topic. So that is something that I don't know, I've thought about heavily. James got the lifetime deal. I didn't even know there was a lifetime deal. I don't even know. I'm kind of looking at the pricing page, but I'm not sure. Calvin talked to me about this, and then like I said, I saw the access piece for it. And I think public is tomorrow, like in about 24 hours from now. So yeah, something like that. But Steve bought the 125 license tier. See, I'm getting very conflicted information. I'm seeing 150. I'm seeing 5, 50, and 150, and I'm seeing per year, not LTD. But I am partially stupid, so I don't know. Michael says, no, I get it, but I don't want to commit. Yeah, I feel that. There was no no LTD. Yeah, I'm not seeing an LTD, but maybe I have a different thing. But I've kind of talked to Calvin. There's been some, like I said, the comments, and there's been a couple other things. I totally get and respect not wanting to buy into something that's new, that is not available as an LTD, right? I mean, when you buy an LTD, you're definitely risking that too. I've heard many people that are like, oh yeah, the LTD that I bought back when is dead now. So I get that as well. But yeah, it is, at minimum, it is a very interesting situation that we have all got ourselves into here with this, the LTD game of WordPress plugins and themes and all that sort of stuff. It's not an essential program. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's definitely a convenience item for sure. What's up, Panda? How you doing? Bricks, I would pay subscription for, but I have the LTD. Yeah, Bricks is a great example, honestly. Bricks is unbelievably. If you got that $200 whatever LTD, like that is unbelievably undervalued. And that's a great example too. Like I'm happy they changed because honestly, I don't know how they could have sustained what they're doing with that pricing originally because that was unbelievably crazy. Licenses were different depending on waiting list rank. Really? Wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Interesting. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Calvin at some point to see how he did all this because there's he spun this up pretty quick and there's like a lot of different interesting pieces from a pricing perspective and a an offer perspective. So yeah. Richard says LTDs should come with a nominal update fee every year, having to basically repay for a product every year when all may needs a security update. You have no is annoying. Yeah, that's an interesting model there too. I'm trying to think if there's a precedent already for that at all. You know what? I feel like I've something just said to me like affiliate WP was like that, but I don't know if that's true. It's like I think normally I've seen it the other way actually. I've seen it like it's cheaper the first year and then it's more expensive the years after. But that's a good idea. That's a good concept there where it's like cheaper um or it's like you pay one fee like to get it and then you just pay like almost like a support. Well, I think you know what that's the thing though. See, this is we can go down a whole rabbit hole with this, but the whole thing is like I've seen many times where you pay one time to get access to the plugin, right? And then you have access for a year. And then in order to get it's I feel like this is slightly more old school in a way where there wasn't like all right, let me just use an actual example. So I bought Admin Editor Pro like last year and it just came to the year, right? And I was like, I only use this on two sites. I really don't need it. It's fine plugin for what it does, but I don't really need it. So I decided to not renew it. So I have access to the plugin, but allegedly now I'm not going to get updates because I don't have like an active license, so to speak, right? And I feel like that is kind of the idea of like buying the thing once. And I'm pretty sure actually it was cheaper as well to renew. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it was. So that's kind of that concept. It's like you buy it once for, like $100 or something, making numbers up. And then moving forward, like yearly support and just the yearly, renewals are like $50. I guess I could kind of get behind that concept. That would be something interesting to kind of like play out. I'm trying to think of pros and cons in my head. But I don't know. I mean, I get it. I just always kind of go back to the stuff that we deal with, if we're being honest with ourselves, is so unbelievably cheap, and you do not need all of it. That if you're pricing your shit appropriately, I've thought from the very beginning of this business, and I swear to you guys, one day if you are interested in this, I don't know how many of you guys, if you want to tell me in the chat, I don't know how many of you guys are like in the stage of like building websites just for yourself and your product, or building for clients, or just DIYers or whatever. I would love to get more insight on that. So if you, I could probably run a poll on YouTube, but I'm not in the YouTube UI right now. But if my thing is like, I have always thought from the beginning of starting in the web industry that everything was like generally pretty cheap. Like think about how much costs we don't have to incur if we're just like working from our house, and like we just have our hardware basically, and then our software. We don't have like, if you're not scaling up to like working in like an office building and like having a ton of employees and stuff like it is just so cheap. And but you could still make, I feel like the profit margin, if you're good with it, you could still make a lot. And this is coming from somebody that like went directly into like forming an LLC before they had any revenue really, using QuickBooks rather than like doing something like ad hoc, or just like kind of like MacGyvering something together. Like getting a domain email right away. You know what I'm saying? Like I went like by the book, so to speak, and still thought that a lot of the stuff was really cheap. Now, again, I'm in the United States, so I know that's like different, probably than a lot of other places in the world. So there's definitely a big caveat there. But I'm just saying that I still think that we have just an advantage, and I choose to look at it like that, from those types of things, that type of angle there. But definitely an interesting conversation. If we want to talk more about that, I'd be down. Yeah, I don't know where the LTD is. I thought there wasn't one, but I'm not sure. What tool are you talking about? Came in later. Link. Yeah, with just command UI, Lex. I could throw the main link in there. Yes, and if it's 150, but my number was, in the set. Yeah, 700. Yeah, I'm seeing 150, but I'm not sure. I'd be interested, like I said, if there's any sort of like programmatic like shit going on in there, that's fucking sick. I want to see that. I need to talk to Calvin about that. I like licenses that are perpetual. You can keep using it, but you only get upgrades for a year. But you also get a discount to renew. More and more Mac apps do this. I think it's a good model. See, okay, so I love the concept there, Panda. I think that resonates with a lot of people. My only concern there is that maybe not in Mac land or whatever necessarily, but like in a WordPress plugin. Let's play that out because I do think that Admin Editor Pro, just the one that I brought up there, I think it has that model. But the one concern that I have is that I feel like my hypothesis on that is it perpetuates a possibility and a kind of demeanor that you don't need. It lessens the importance of making sure your shit is updated, right? And the developer is doing a good job to keep it up. I mean, we'll assume they're gonna keep it updated, but if you don't keep yours updated because you don't pay, then it's like you're really running a serious risk there, right? Like if there's like a security update in year 2 and you didn't upgrade and you didn't update now, or you didn't, get the renewal, then it's like, well, what the hell? Like now you're basically, you or your client's sites are at risk because there was a security update and you don't have that update now. So it's a tough one for me. I mean, you could obviously do that anyway. Like, right, it doesn't matter if it's just like a standard yearly thing. You could buy it, you could cancel it, you could have the license, and you won't get updates. If you don't have an active license, like that is, I think that's pretty standard. My point is that if you're gonna do that as a plugin developer, one thing I would love to see is that, let's say that you have 100 people that buy your license. This sun is directly in my fucking face right now. If you are a plugin developer, okay, and you do that model, what I would love to see is make sure that you keep, I don't know how to do it specifically, but my thought process is, let's say in year 2 or whenever you have like a security update, not a feature update, something that like is really important. I don't know if you should continue to support that, but at minimum, what you should probably do is keep everybody on your email list, even if even if they don't have an active license, and like send them an email and say, hey, listen, I know you're not an active license member anymore, but we just released a security update, and you should probably like renew your shit because you didn't, like, you supported us at first, which is great, we appreciate that, but then we're just telling you, you know what I mean? Now maybe there's other security, like Patch Stack or something, or WordFence or whatever would obviously be sending those types of emails out. But I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But those are things that come up to me in my thought process with it, and I'm like, I love that model, but I just don't know how to like kind of appease everyone and try to keep things secure as possible. I love how Elementor did it. Got grandfathered in the original pricing yearly. Yeah, I think well, the one thing I don't like about Elementor with that is they kind of like half did that. Like I had I want to say like $150 a year for unlimited sites when I started, I want to say, and now it's $150 a year for 1,000 sites. I don't like how they changed that. I'm pretty sure that was what happened. Now again, what is the actual difference between 1,000 sites and unlimited? How many people are going to build 1,000 sites with the same product? It's probably low, right? You know what I mean? Like the delta between like 10 and 50, the difference between like 10 and 50 sites is way bigger of an impact, not numbers, than like 1,000 and unlimited. I'm just saying, like, I didn't really appreciate that they changed that. Um, but I do appreciate that they didn't like raise the rates. So that's kind of another good thing there. That's what PrimeGrow does, LTD, but you pay $50 to get updates support after the first year. Yeah, I mean, that model's not bad. Like I said, there's probably pros and cons here and there, but there's probably no perfect solutions. WP plugin is trickier because security updates feature. Yep, exactly. Yep, exactly. Seems fair, but not really an LTD. Richard said, think of it as buying a new car. It is your car, but you need to pay for service yearly to keep it running nicely. Yeah, it's a good analogy there. What do we got here? Ended up getting a fantastic deal on all Brainstorm products, like a year after yearly for like 2 years, and ended up paying some cheap upgrade fee. Yeah, I've seen that too. I think I was For Late Point, I was in Late Point a while ago, and I need to make a video on it because I know I met Tamik at WordCamp US, and it's unbelievable. Late Point. Haven't made a video on it, like I said, but there was like an initial thing that I bought. I think I bought it way back on Code Canyon, and then I upgraded to like the Pro version when they were moving to like 4.0 or 5.0. Yeah, a lot of different models here. Matty Eastwood, the man, the myth, the legend. There he is. Appreciate you being here, dog. Uh, do, 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 do. Yeah, so a lot of different models here. So Steve builds for clients. My sites suck. Not enough time. Yeah, I mean, I feel that. Um, so yeah, for client, like I said, for clients, like that's. I want to get into the SureCart thing at some point because that's what we're talking about there. I think there's some good concepts there. If LTDs are priced right, then it works. Yeah, I mean the only thing I would say there, Michael, is are you saying are you saying that from a consumer standpoint? Or are you saying that from a developer standpoint? Um, because I mean, again, from a consumer standpoint, like I don't know, I'm thinking about the LTDs that I bought. I don't know, maybe there was like I bought Crock-a-Block for like $800, like the whole suite for $800, and I mean like the amount of money that I have made or that I could have made off of that, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I'm not saying that like you. I'm not saying that if you make $100,000 over the course of your career or whatever using a plugin that you should pay them $100,000. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that there's like just if you just think about general like investment into something, right? Like if you invest in a property, like a house or something like that, right? If you pay like just thinking about what your average return on investment for anything that you would ever invest in would be. Let's just use even like the S&P 500 or something like that, like 10% per year or something. You know, that's kind of the way that I sort of equate it. Like maybe the amount of money that you spend on a tool that you're going to make 10 times that, like maybe like if you spend $100 on it, it's just unbelievable how cheap these are if you actually are a person that's like making money off of the tools when you're using them. But again, everybody's different, and there's so many different, not just different business models kind of within it, but there's also different again, geographically and the types of clients we're working with and things. So I mean, I get it, there's not really right answers to these, we're just kind of having a conversation. I get what you mean about updates, but yeah, online stuff is different from local apps. In all cases, I think discounted renewals is a win-win for devs and customers and a smart business move. Yeah, I would like to see more people maybe just like think about that. I don't see that too often. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's kind of something I'm trying to think about the annual things that I have currently. Um, the WooCommerce fucking extensions, they just keep going up in price. So that's always kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly like I love what I've built with WooCommerce, and the client portals and everything like that. Like just as an example, like that is like an amazing thing that I put together like all those different tools for. But there's some paid extensions certainly, like from WooCommerce and stuff. And then you just look at something like SureCart and it's all wrapped in one. It just doesn't, I mean, I know it's different. One is automatic based and one is not, but it's just I don't know. There's just some really interesting things there from that type of thing. And then if we're talking about like the annual renewals and what to expect, because that's another thing too. If you're building websites for clients, if the client, this is another weird issue here. Okay, this is actually a really good thing to bring up. I don't know how we got on this topic specifically, obviously with command UI stuff, but this is a really good conversation. I appreciate you guys' insights. Like this is the other thing actually. This is larger than what we were kind of talking about there. It's a nuance. Is I've had clients, I'm sure you guys have as well, where like they need something and it doesn't even have a license or an opportunity to buy. It doesn't have like a license tier that has multiple websites, or it doesn't have a license tier that has like unlimited agency websites where you could use it on everything, right? So we buy bricks and we're like, okay, well, regardless if it's an LTD or if it's a subscription or whatever, they have tiers where we can use it on unlimited websites or something like that because we're going to build more than 1, 2, 3, 10 websites, right? So that makes sense in a way for us to take that cost, put it in our cost calculator and make sure that we make the money back, okay? But This is a different nuance to this conversation, and I'm gonna go back to the WooCommerce extensions because I've had to have this happen to me. When somebody needs, when you're building like a WooCommerce website and they need like memberships or they need like subscriptions specifically, and you're gonna use WooCommerce for that, now you're paying like 270, 200, almost like $300 a year for that WooCommerce subscription extension, right? Because it's not in the main thing and you have to pay for it yearly and it's that price every year. Now you're paying for that, right? But like, how do you handle that as somebody that's building a website for clients? In my mind, I'm not forking that. Like, there's different ways to do it, right? But I'm not eating that cost. There's no way I'm eating that cost. So I'm either going to price that in probably at a website care plan, kind of like a division type thing, like time, like divided by 12. If you want to get like, if you want to go like that way, right? So you could bill it into and wrap it into the monthly or the annual. I wouldn't recommend doing annual, but you could wrap it in, right? You could just have the client put their card in directly, which I've done and is kind of clean, but it was also kind of cumbersome because you have to make sure that their card is updated and all that sort of stuff. You could buy it for them and just pass the charge on to them like directly, every time it happens. But again, like this is a nuance to that situation where now it's actually more. It is more annoying to handle that when you have a situation where you're buying like what I always would call like premium site specific plugins or something like that. Something that you can only get for like a one site license. You're only using it on maybe one client's site and they have to pay for it. So it's like somebody's got to pay for this. I'm not going to eat this cost for you. So either you're paying for it, I'm paying for it and passing along to you, or we're wrapping it into the our agreement, and I'll pay for it, but I'm making sure that I get the money for it. These are just all things you got to think about. I would not recommend eating that cost. Absolutely not. So that's another situation there that is kind of interesting. Panda says, yeah, but yeah, that's the thing about branches. Then again, WP and security, you should ask Calvin about his thoughts. Yeah, 100%. 100% on the security piece. Panda said, clients mainly for some new products, but my own site is just a designer and dev. It's really bad. I don't have time. Yep, I feel that, guys. Michael said, how much would you have paid for Croco with subscriptions? Okay, yeah, so Jet Engine is 43 a year. If it didn't work, it wouldn't be offered. SureCart is only 1K lifetime. Haven't tried SureCart though, so I'm not sure how it compares to Woo. Yeah, subscriptions going up and price is annoying. LTD gets away with uncertain pricing. Yeah, so let me actually look at that. It's a good question. So like if you go to how much would I mean, I don't know how much I would have paid him. This was a different time, but if I go here to, it's just gonna work, yeah. So just Crock-a-Block as our example here. Yeah, so I paid like, I'm trying to think what this was. I think what happened here was this was like, I think it was $900 and I had like a coupon code from like a Reno DeBoer video or something like that to get it cheaper. So I think I got it for $800. And that was this one. This is Croco's an interesting one too, because it's like, I don't know. I've explored so many of these, and again, when I was talking to Calvin, kind of a little bit about pricing stuff, like early on, not recently. Like there was very interesting research that I was looking at here. Like this is to me a weird plan. Like I guess this is just to upsell. This is just an anchor play here to get. And I love Crock-a-Block. Like I'm just trying to diagnose it like from a pricing perspective. Like who would ever buy this? You know what I mean? Like this is 250. I mean, I guess if you don't think you're gonna make more than 500 websites, you would buy this. I don't know. Just an interesting situation there. Was there any other change? I don't think there's anything different other than but anyway, I got the lifetime one. I don't remember what the freelancer one. I don't even know if they had that when I bought this. And these are all for unlimited projects. This is for one project. Yeah, it's a little weird. Okay, let's just go here. So unlimited projects, if I was going to buy this, Okay, here's the trouble now, though. The trouble now is, to be completely honest with you, to me, it kind of depends on my stack, right? So if you're using bricks, then pretty much all of Crockablock, I think at this point, integrates with Elementor and bricks and Gutenberg. But when I was using Elementor, at the time I was using Elementor, I needed to use more of Crockablock than I'm using now. So I switched from Jet Form Builder to WS Form. So I wouldn't be using Jet Form Builder at this point. I've used Jet Elements before, but I haven't needed to use that in bricks. Jet Blog, no. Product Tables is new, I think, no. Or maybe, is that the new one? There's a new one. I think that's the new one. Jet Tabs, I don't need to use. Again, like I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like right now, the main one that I use is Jet Engine. So, and Jet Engine is fantastic. For many reasons and a lot of different things, and like the query builder is just unbelievable. Like booking an appointment, if you didn't have like a solution for that, then that might be something that you can kind of wrap in. Jet Woo Builder, again, if you're using SureCart, then you're not going to need that. The compare wish list thing, I kind of like to try to build some of that myself with like data stores, which is a Crockablock thing. So that's something to consider. Jet Reviews, Jet Search maybe. Haven't used it in a little bit. Smart Filters is interesting because like Bricks has the facets. I'm just trying to give you guys like perspective here. Like all these tools are fantastic, but it really depends on what your stack is before you get this, so to speak. Because again, the way that I used Crockablock changed immensely when I moved from Elementor to Bricks. So to try to answer that question, would I pay $400 a year for all of this right now? Like, I think that's kind of a fair price for everything you're getting. But again, it would depend on how much you're using. So just out of curiosity, is this 88? Okay, so it's 88 per year for just Jet Engine. I mean, honestly, Jet Engine is extremely powerful. Like the query builder's absolutely second to none. So you can do a lot of it in bricks, right? But the query builder in Jet Engine has gotten me out of so many things, and it just helped me understand a lot of the querying too, like a lot better. So I would highly recommend it just for that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully that kind of answers it. I don't really have an answer. I don't know if this is like the price or, I don't know if that's the price that I would like definitely like pay or what, but I don't know. Yeah. So where are we at here? Ryan, Reno. Yeah. I think he had something. I think that's my code was like living with Pexels or something back in the day. Let's see what we got here. I also got the Crockablock LTD using coupon from the web and purchased via project. Yep. $43 was for one site. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying now. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if the difference is $43, $43 and $88. I mean, again, guys, like I'm speaking in generalities here, but I mean, you have to do it for your own self. It's like, how many websites do you have? How many websites do you plan on building? How many websites do you need it for? Okay, and then it's like another thing of like, okay, if you're building multiple websites, then hopefully you're making money, right? If you're building websites for clients, then hopefully you're making money. If you're building websites for yourself or just like one website for yourself, like, do you actually think that's going to make money? Is your plan to make money with it? How much money are you going to make from it? And then you have to actually have just a math conversation, right? And just do some math. Would be kind of where I'm at. I'm never going to tell you guys, don't ever buy something just because I said to like, hey, I like it. You know what I mean? Like, I get the stuff because, one, I do like premium tools that just work because I don't want to like be messing around existentially with like shit to try to make it work. But I would say that like everybody's situation is definitely different. Like there's some overlap, right? Like we're all dealing in like the WordPress realm, but that's super vague. So don't, like you gotta, at some point I can only tell you so much, and most of it's based on personal experience, but your experience could be totally different. That's why I try to hear everybody out and try to understand. So SureCart 1K per year per site. Yeah, that was one thing about the SureCart pricing that I thought was interesting. Yeah, it's you know, it's a WooCommerce thing, right? Let me go to it here real quick. Um, yeah, I think SureCart. Yeah, it's like a and we could talk about it too because that would probably be a good idea if I could find it on my screen here. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that um, it's only a like a single license, but it is something that it's definitely the thing with SureCard is it's closer to the money. You know what I mean? Like like you're gonna make money directly from that specific thing. It's not kind of like Jet Engine or something like something else. It's like you're using it and it's part of your stack, but it's not really, you know, whatever. This is a SureCart affiliate link if you want to support what I'm doing. If not, just go to surecart.com. Um, okay, so yeah, and SureCart's pricing is interesting as well, right? So let's see what do we got here. Pay monthly, pay yearly, month. Okay, so this is obviously, yeah, yeah, but this is just for one site. I think these are these all just for one site? I think these are all just for one site. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I have this one for I have a license here for marksmancy.co. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like again my thing with this is it's easier to kind of like justify sort of in a way because you are literally going to make money with this. Like the money is literally going to flow through, you know, SureCart effectively. Like that is your e-commerce platform. But if you don't need that, then you know it's a different conversation. Max, appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you. Grid Pain, what's up, PG? What are we looking at here? What's the pricing for 100K sites? I have no idea. Where were we at? Oh, we were looking at Crock-a-Block, I think. That's when you commented that. Um, Let me go over to, well, why don't we just take a quick stroll over here? If you guys want to check out any of the other stuff that I use. This is my tools page. If you guys want to get acclimated, I'm adding new stuff here all the time. And that one was this one here, so I'll drop that in there. But yeah, so that was Crock-a-Block. I don't know what the I think Patrick's making jokes with the 100K sites. That would probably fall under the unlimited. So you'd be paying $1,000 to put that on 100,000 sites. I think that's a pretty good deal. I think that is a pretty good deal if you're going to use it on 100,000 sites. So I was more curious about how many months. Oh, how many months you could get for the lifetime deal. I see. um, let's see. You know, I think there's probably a pricing formula for this that people use. I think there's probably a pricing formula where you're like, okay, let's do a lifetime deal, and well, let's just look at what this would be. This would be $400, $400 per year. When would there's definitely a term for this where like you would have quote unquote like uh the you pay per year, so you pay 400, then you're in 800, then you're in 1200. So 2.5 years. Okay, so let's think about it like that. You need to use this thing for 2.5 years for it to make sense for you to go to lifetime, right? So if you're going to use it for 2.5 years, it makes total sense to go here. Would be the concept that I would one of the ways that I would kind of one of the ways I would kind of think about that. And have I used it for 2.5 years? I think I got it in 2022. It's definitely close. But I think the value for me has just been way more than that. It's kind of a weird thing. It's a little subjective. I'm looking at numbers, but I'm also kind of like feeling it. So I brought Crock-a-Block back in the day for $175 on sale. Jeez. Look at this guy. Max. Unbelievable deal right there. That's like Hall of Fame deal right there, dude. For SureCart, I also purchased. Let me see here. For SureCart, I also purchased LTD. Also didn't know. Also didn't know that this was for one site, so I mentioned to Adam what is normal in LTD space and suggested some designs to make it more clear. Yeah, that would be. I love that. It should probably say one site though. It should. Yeah, it should probably say one site, but I also think 999 is good pricing for what it gives. Can't wait for V3. Yeah, V3 is sick. I already have the release candidate installed. The custom post type thing is dope. So Crockablock. Okay, we need to get you on the updated GP affiliate dealio, buddy. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You got my number. You're busy carving pumpkins. I get it. I get it. 100K for 1K. It's a deal. But what if I only want jet engine? Oh, okay. All right. Let's keep pricing it out here. For one site or unlimited sites? 88 per year. So how would we math this? If you only want jet engine and the alternative was the lifetime plan, I mean it's what is that, 11 years? I mean, I don't know, 11, 12 years. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's definitely isn't lifetime, I think, for those for single ones, right? So I don't know. Something interesting. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, 88. I mean, also if you're gonna get real picky with this, then what I would also say is, are you gonna build more than 500 websites? If you're gonna do that math right there, like 999 divided by 88. I also don't. I gotta be honest with you, Michael. I see where you're coming from with a lot of these things, but I don't really agree that that's like a fair. I don't think it's a fair comparison of value. I guess in one way I kind of wish that they would have, or it would be nice in that case to have like an LTD for specific plugins. Like I would get a little complicated with the pricing and all that sort of stuff, and that's the offer in general. But I do think that now you're kind of comparing one plugin to like the full suite lifetime. So it probably would make more sense for like an LTD for just jet engine would be, what would our number be? Like 2.5. So it'd be like 88, one something. I don't know, maybe like three, maybe like 250 or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe less than that. Maybe like 200 for a lifetime per jet engine, just operating off of that. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Crockablock. Do the toggle in the middle of the page. The toggle in the middle of the page is working 7% of the time. Yep. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, don't click the toggle. You have to click it like 6 times. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Yeah, there's a little word. Oh, the term is called amortize. Yep, yep. I have heard that big word before. I'm more trying to justify the LTD SEOs. Okay. If I just wanted jet engine, it's probably better for Croco if I picked up the LTD. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I mean, these are good questions though, honestly. Like, I mean, these are things that like we need to think about, in the consumer realm. We need to think about like if we're, pricing things as well. And again, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, I talk to a lot of product people now, and sometimes it's just like this is kind of the honestly, this is the beauty of WordPress, depending on how we continue to evolve here. Like there's so many options, and it doesn't matter. I feel like a lot of time there is a solution for everyone. And the other thing too is the brands and the tools that know that they are good tools, good quality tools. Once they've made that distinction, then they're obviously going to charge like a premium, or maybe not even a premium, because premium is subjective, but premium relative to the other tools. So I don't know, something interesting to think about. So, but we're back to, if I wasn't profitable, if it wasn't profitable, they wouldn't offer it. Plus, they can always remove the LTD. Let me see if I understand that. If it wasn't profitable, they could always remove it. I am not an expert in this pricing of these things. I'm trying to think though, just logically, who would buy the LTD? So let me actually give you just some personal things. I am the type of person. I know I'm not. I don't know if I'm the average person because I know verifiable. Um, I know verifiable like opposites to what I'm about to tell you, like individuals that are opposite to me. If I have an issue, the likelihood of me emailing support is obnoxiously low. There's almost the I could probably count on like two hands the amount of times that I've emailed support for a plugin or for even really for hosting, like maybe hosting a little bit more because it starts to get a little more technical and like sometimes depending on where you're at you don't have like full access to it. Like back when I was on Cloudways, like I'd be like, okay, what the hell is going on here? So like what I'm saying is like I'm the type of person, my archetype is the type of person that I'm not going to spend and in the chat spend a ton of time in the chat or on like the phone with a support person. So if you're thinking the other side of that, if you're thinking the service or the product, right? They love me because I just paid them. I just paid the money, whether it was an LTD or annual or whatever, and then I don't talk to them. Like they don't have to spend any money or time on me. I'm just using their product and that's it. There are a lot of people though, and I think that this is the most expensive. I've heard support is the most expensive piece of the actual business model of like a product like that because you have to literally pay people or you have to engineer solutions in order to get your customers answers, right? And there's people in the chat right now that are way more knowledgeable than this me, but I'm just like kind of like putting the pieces together. So my thing is like these products probably love me, but I don't know how many people are like me, where I'm just like, I'm gonna figure this out myself. I'm gonna look up YouTube. I'm gonna try to use some other solution, or like I'm gonna like try to piece it together. I don't know why I'm like that. I just feel like okay, I kind of know how to do it, so I'm gonna figure it out. Um, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying the reality of that situation is the archetype of person that goes directly to support costs that company way, way more. And then if you think about it like this, where it's like, okay, you paid for the LTD, right? So you paid for 2.5 years, basically, equivalent of the annual thing. Well, if you're emailing support, and I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying if anybody is doing that and then emailing support at a or calling support or whatever throughout that 2.5 years, it's like, okay, maybe we're kind of even if we price that in properly. But anything after that, it's like they're losing money. Like they're losing money. Like they have to support you. They have to constantly be giving out the updates, and they have to again spend money to make sure that your shit works when you're not paying them any more money. So that's another perspective that is on the other side of it that I've heard. And again, it's just I think it's just I don't know if there's a right way to do it. I this is why as I move more towards like the product realm or talk at least more to more products and service provider people in this space, I'm like, that makes a whole lot of sense because again, I go back to the client thing. It's if you don't pay me to make these stupid changes on your website, the long-term effect of that is I am going to go out of business and you're going to be fucked anyway. So if you just pay me a little bit of money just to do the work, then at least we can both stay afloat. You get what you want, I stay in business, and we all continue on our merry way. I'm learning that in the service part, and I'm seeing it, in the product side of things. So that's kind of what I would say there. Um, yeah, he just DMs me this questions. Brendan is my API guy. He is my source of truth on so many things. So yeah. But that's true for subscribers as well. If we're talking, I was lost in the chat there. I think if we're talking about the support thing, the only thing I would say there is if I'm understanding that correctly, it's like the subscribers though they're still paying, so it's like if you're doing your pricing properly or at least doing the estimations properly for like the average amount of support that an average user needs, then hopefully that would all be in there. But I don't know. Panda says it's a super interesting combo and not limited to LTDs or WP. Ideally, companies would have a super tight loop between customers, UX, marketing, and engineering, but it's super hard to build. Yeah, it's very interesting. I actually love that type of stuff. I love the system building and everything like that, and like that type of thing. But it is there's definitely not one shoe. It's not like not one way to do everything. On the flip side, if you can achieve this, you have happy customers who are actually helping you grow the product, grow biz mode, and you can leverage them as ambassadors. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a formula there. But LTDs don't help with that at all because the cost is ongoing, the revenue isn't. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a good way to kind of summarize that. I think there might be a place for LTDs in the very beginning in super limited quantities as a cash flow injection piece, but you have to keep it super limited because I can't think of a way to do it. Again, I get it from the consumer spot. I don't know. Crocoblock was created after they moved off Code Canyon, bundled their products under the Jet brand. I was a client back then, using plugins like JetBlog and experience to ship firsthand. Interesting. Interesting. I was not there for that, but that seems like a very fun time to be a part of. Derek, appreciate you being here. Product pricing is such an interesting topic. Oh, for sure. 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting from both sides because you got to kind of balance it, consumer and actual profitability from the product side. I also figure stuff out myself. I mainly only contact support for billing questions or bug reporting. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is like I actually on the bug report side, the thing that I actually think I make a comment to support about the most is like feature request stuff. It's like, or bug, or maybe like a tweak or whatever. But like, an interesting thing, like I'm looking at this camera, I'm looking over on the side here, like Restream, like it's an incredible product, but there's like just a couple things like kind of missing. And I don't know if I was a part of it or whatever, but I feel like I was at least kind of a part of the catalyst to make them start adding a couple new features that are like kind of, in my opinion, like unbelievably like straightforward and should have been there. But again, when you're in a product, you kind of get wrapped up in it a lot. You know what I mean? It's you don't like see it. Maybe you don't have time to check out the other things. So I don't know. That's kind of one way that I'm positioning myself a little bit now. But I mean, regardless of if you have a product in general, or if you use a product in general, don't be afraid to like reach out to them and be like, hey, I would love to see this, that, and the other thing. I mean, if they're a small development team, and they actually give a shit about their customers, which a lot of these WP companies do, like they will listen to you. So I would definitely reach out for them for that type of stuff. AI made plugins. We got a LinkedIn user here. AI made plugins sounds like a scam for sure. Yeah, you know what? I did make an AI plugin and I'm going to scam everybody. That was a joke. I'm not doing that. But that's a good segue. Let's go over to my screen again here. And I really appreciate that conversation, guys. A lot of stuff there. I did want to kind of go through some of these, some of the happenings, if we could. Also, I didn't do this yet. This is the AI plugin thing. You see nothing on the screen. Please, something show up on the screen. Fuck. I think so hang on a second. There is a... So I built this thing last time. I filmed the video. Okay, it says we're currently live. Please show up now. Hang on. Look at that, boys. You saw it in real time. Okay, it didn't work exactly as I'd hoped. I'd hoped that I would just come to this. This is super inception-y right now, okay? But let me explain to you what the hell is going on here, and then we'll kind of get back to what we're talking about. But I wanted to test this live. This is and this is sparked from the LinkedIn comment there. This is an AI plugin that I made. Okay, I tweeted about this the other day, or zeeted about it. I don't know, posted about it on X. Wow, this is trippy. I don't know if I can continue to watch this. This is an AI. This is powered by an AI plugin. I built it with Claude. Okay, and Claude built it. I prompted it. I didn't build shit, but I put these pieces together. So I asked Claude what I wanted to do was I wanted to create a plugin. There's gonna be a whole video about this. I'm just dipping my toes into the water, so to speak, with like explaining this to you guys, because I filmed the whole thing. It's like 2 hours long. I'll film a little intro to kind of show you this, but if you're here now, I'll just give you the quick rundown. This is a plugin that all it really does was I wanted to know and have a section on my website that dynamically showed when I was live, like right now. Now the layout here is ass. Like this was just a testing environment, but there's like a section in here, right? There's a big section if you can imagine that. Then there's the like just a heading, and there's a button, and then there's this one video piece over here, another video piece over here, and what it does is it does like 4 things. And why don't I just switch over? If you guys want to just get a quick little sneak peek here, I will switch over to the other one and I will tell you exactly how I built this real quick, and we could just all have some fun here. Let me replace my screen share, and I will just show you guys what the heck's going on here, right here. Boom. I think we're good. All right, cool. So I'll give you a quick rundown, and then you guys can watch some of that video if you'd like, whenever it's released, which is probably going to be this week or early next week. Is it working? Yes, it is. It's so sick. Okay, so I basically prompted Claude, okay? And I'm not going to show you any of that sort of stuff. That's too deep. You can watch the whole video if you want to see me literally like swear at Claude for like 2 hours. But I prompted Claude and I was like, hey, listen, I want to create a plugin that checks the YouTube API, pings it every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, can manually check it, pings the YouTube API based on a channel ID, which is, this is my channel ID, but you could put your channel ID in there if you wanted. You put in an API key. It's even encrypted and all that sort of shit. You can't see it. It's fantastic. And then you set your frequency. What's supposed to happen here, I think we need to tweak a little bit because right now it works on the cron, and I think that was an issue. I think that's why it didn't show up as soon as I went on here. This is a test site, doesn't get any traffic. There's definitely room for improvement. This is a minimum viable product that works, okay? What this does is it pings the YouTube API every certain amount of time or when you manually check it. It pings it to say, is this channel live, okay? It gets back a yes or a no. If it gets back a no, then it says the channel is not live and nothing happens, all right? If it gets back a yes, then it brings in this dynamic tag and this dynamic tag, okay? And these are dynamic tags in bricks. Like I fed in the bricks, dynamic tag API, whatever the integration, okay, or the documentation. It creates this tag in bricks, it creates this tag in bricks, and it assigns these values to it, okay? And the other thing that it does is it actually creates a dynamic or like a custom condition in bricks, so you can. And I made a video about this, but I didn't do it very well, so I'm a little worried. I'm a little annoyed that I didn't do it very well. This actually works well, okay? So it does all that. It has these dynamic tags in here that you can see, and then it has this dynamic condition. If you didn't understand any of that, I mean, again, like I'll show you the whole step by step or whatever. But what it looks like on the front end, okay, when you go to actually do this and put it together and like the pieces that like would happen would be, now you have a section, okay? So we have a section and just standard brick section, and you have conditions. And in your conditions, okay, I'll show you if like you were just going through this. Down at the bottom, you have a new condition, a new custom condition group called YouTube Live, and you have channel live status, okay? And then when you click channel live status, you can say is live or is not live. Well, I want this section to only show up when the channel live status is live, so I have it as live, right? So that's why when you saw it originally, it had it registered as not live, and then I went and I checked it that it was live, which again, it should be more dynamic, but we talked about that, the issues with that, the cron situation probably or whatever. It didn't update that status. But then as soon as I updated the status, then the section appeared because it's got that dynamic condition in there. The next thing is those tags, right? So if we get out of the conditions thing here, if we go down to the button, well, okay, and again, I just have this for testing, but like now what I have is I have that dynamic live URL in here, right? So if I clicked this button right now, because I'm using dynamic data and I'm using that tag, right, which I'll show you down here, there's now a new dynamic tag group called YouTube Live, and I have YouTube Live URL or YouTube Video ID. Those are the same things as like custom post types or options. They work the same way. They're just dynamic tags that are populated with data, and we got that data from the YouTube API, and we created it all like this, right? So boom, you can have a button, right? If you just wanted a little simple section that says, "Hey, we're live," and with a button, you could do that. And then down here, these video elements, you might be wondering why I did video ID and video URL. The reason I did URL is because that's probably more ubiquitous, but for some reason, Bricks decided that when they put video here, they weren't going to put like they were just going to put the ID, which is fine. I was able to just tell Claude, hey, listen, I want two tags. I want the URL and I want just the ID, and then boom. So this is a YouTube, or just a video element that's set to YouTube, and then the tag is just the ID portion, and it works great. We're doing a lot of inception here on the screen. And then over here on this side, this is dynamic data again, and this is the video URL. Now, this is interesting because this was actually a test because I didn't realize this was going to work. This video element over here, this is just a random bricks thing. If you go to source, there's a standard video element on bricks. If you go to YouTube, it wants the YouTube ID. I did not know that this was going to work if I typed in dynamic data and put the YouTube URL in here. I did not realize that was going to work, but I'm fascinated to know that that works. So that's interesting. Then the last couple things is over here on this side, just to make sure that I knew what was going on and knew it was populating through like debugging and stuff. I put in the little dynamic tag for live ID. And then over on this side, I put in the YouTube URL. Now, one random thing that I'll just throw in here, because that's pretty much everything, you know, hopefully that made sense. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. And then, like I said, there's going to be a full video. But the one random thing that I don't really understand is why the hell, when I put in a rich text element, I'd never seen this happen before. This down here is actually just a rich text element with a YouTube URL down there. And for some reason, it just automatically it automatically embeds it. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is a rich text element right here that renders out to like a YouTube URL. And it's just YouTube URL. It's not like an embed, you know, script or anything like that. It's just, that was weird. I don't know why it did that, but probably if I changed it to like basic text or something like that, it would work, but it doesn't matter. It was just for testing, but my point is that was weird. So anyway, I'm super excited that this thing works. Okay. I'm like unbelievably stoked that this works. Yeah, and maybe there's some changes to be made or whatever, but there's a lot of cool stuff there. And okay, I'm gonna make a huge disclaimer. Okay, if you want to use it in its current form, you can do so by going to this GitHub repo. Absolutely read the README file. Okay, and do not use this on a production website without getting it vetted for security purposes or any sort of like vulnerabilities or anything like that. That was a test environment that I'm okay with anything bad happening to it. Okay. This is an MVP that I created in like 2 hours with Claude. Okay. I do not know what I'm doing. I am an idiot. Do not use that. And absolutely, I'm not held liable for anything. So if you want to check it out, go ahead, check it out, but I'm not liable. I cannot be held responsible. So yeah, but that is, I'm super excited about that. And like I said, full video if you want to watch me fumble around. I do actually, I'm making a joke about the fumbling around, but honestly, I have tried to do this. If you look back on the channel, I've tried to do this a few other times with a few other things and been moderately successful with like smaller things like that. It is really impressive what you can do with Claude nowadays. Okay, these new models are incredible. I would highly recommend Claude. ChatGPT is okay, but I like the interface of Claude, and I feel like it's treated me better a little bit than ChatGPT has for that type of stuff. But here's the real thing. Okay, if you can do that, and I would highly recommend like going in and trying to play around with those types of things, but the bigger thing, okay, if you're, and you ask Max in the chat here because he's the AI king. I'm just a noob. The huge thing about AI is understanding how to get what you want out of it. It is not a fucking magic answering like magic 8-ball, okay? You have to like treat it like it's a 5-year-old, and you have to treat it like it knows what to do, but it can't read your mind. You have to, in the video, you'll see I'm writing long prompts. I'm actually speaking in and writing the prompts because I'm not trying to type all that shit. So I'm speaking in these big long prompts and I'm saying, Claude, like, do exactly this. This is how I want it. And then it's going to fuck up. Like, it's going to not give you exactly what you want. It's going to be close. And then you're going to have to tell it, hey, actually, Claude, this ain't working. Please redo it, or please like debug it, or try to give it to me in a different manner, or what have you. Or a lot of times what you're gonna have to do is it doesn't have the most updated documentation, so you're definitely gonna have to feed that in. You're just gonna learn a lot of those things. If you do watch this video that's gonna be like an hour and a half long, if you watch the part where I'm prompting everything, if you watched it on 2x, and you would definitely get a lot of value from understanding how to prompt. Maybe you don't want to build this exact thing, but you will understand, like, just watching that, like for a half an hour or whatever, is you will, or just go do it yourself. Like, you would definitely have a better understanding of what to do when you're trying to build something like that. Because honestly, that was my best. There's times in there where I'm like, why is this not working? And then I just stuck with it this time and just literally told it like, hey, this isn't working. And it will figure it out if you tell it what's happening most of the time. So yeah, that wasn't incredibly super innovative, but it was something kind of really interesting to try. So yeah, I don't know, just a lot of thoughts there on that. Definitely take a look when that video drops. I will mention it on here whenever I'm probably next week, and then yeah, you'll see it on the channel. So I think that was just about it on that. Let's go back to some of these things here. That's the beginner mind versus builder mind. It was obvious to you because you didn't build it and had a different perspective. Yeah, I think that was regarding something else that I can't remember right now. But I agree with that. Let's just catch up on these. I could see something like SureCart and all their products, part of a hosting package. Sure Hosting, you're welcome. That's the next product, Sure Hosting. Sounds like my experience with AI as well. I needed that video. It'll be out soon. I love how Mark is getting excited by his own AI made plugin. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I put the author of that plugin is not me. The author is Mark Szymanski and Claude, because I did not build that. I just prompted it. Claude 3.5 Sonic has been great for coding for the non-coder. Me, yeah, me too. Sadly, my free account is currently downgraded to Haiku. Yeah, it's the one thing that I've ran into, and I didn't run into it surprisingly with that project, but I did with other ones, was at a certain point when your conversation gets really long, it says that it takes more tokens, per like prompt basically. And I've had that happen in the past where it'll say like, oh, you can't do anything for like 6 more hours. I'm like, I'm paying for this. Like what is the token quantity? You know what I mean? Like it's not that long of a chat that, so I have a little bit of problem with the limits. But I also don't know enough to actually have a full opinion on that. So it's interesting. Lex, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. That embed is WP trying to help you more than you wish. Oh, interesting. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Because let's use Gutenberg stuff, which converts into a widget. Ah, interesting. Okay. Panda, good to see you. Thank you so much. I pitted AI tools against each other to create plugins, including one debugging another. Yeah, that's the other thing too, is like I probably could feed that back in and see if there's any like, hey, like are there any concerns here? That would be something cool to do. Might try that out. So yeah, all right. So what did we talk about? We talked about town hall. We talked about live right now thing. I want to talk about high level, kind of like not really like drama, but just the kind of like high level stuff. Just kind of the stuff that I've saw recently, and I do want to talk about the SureCart Invoices thing. Just play around with that for a bit. So let's go over here. That's the wrong one. Hang on a sec. Let me replace this with our other one right here. Yeah. Cool. All right. Who's doing fun stuff? Kevin's live right now with the ACSS stuff. Love that. Wiki Design did a sick Halloween live stream. I obviously cannot get to every single one of these guys. I did watch this video real quick. This video from Ann McCarthy about the simplified query loop. Kind of interesting. I noticed I didn't see any like custom. I didn't see custom in there, custom post types, but I think you can do it with custom post types. But I know that's the new UI, so there's something kind of interesting there. Payable invoices, we're going to talk about these obviously in a memento for that. Brendan O'Connell with the goofy eyes here. Love that. The googlies. Definitely go check out Headless. The API guy, Brendan O'Connell. You should definitely trademark that, Brendan, by the way. Definitely a huge opportunity there. Where was the one? Here we go. So this I kind of wanted to talk about this slightly, but I downloaded it, but I didn't like fully set it up. Matt Medeiros' video on AI in the WordPress studio. Kind of interesting. It did seem like you could try to do some stuff like I tried to do there with Claude, but it seemed like I don't know if there was like more steps or how like I didn't try it yet, so I don't exactly know, but that's a good video there from Matt. It's cool to see that they're kind of like leaning into some of that. I'm not exactly sure. My vibe on that is my vibe on really WordPress in general, but specifically with that is like that seems like that's in WordPress Studio. Everything is just disjointed, and it at a certain point it's like I'm almost tired of talking about it because it's like kind of like it's like I understand why it's disjointed, but it's disjointed in a way that like is not fully communicated. And I've tried, and somebody like me who's been in this for a while has tried to understand it, and I still can't understand it. So I don't know, just a bunch of different like trying to wrap my head around like where everything is and where everything isn't is actually exhausting. But but it's cool to see. It's definitely cool to see. I think there was a couple other interesting things. Obviously, a ton of really cool content down here, but I don't have the time to watch it all. But you guys should subscribe to everybody on this list. There's another interesting video that just popped up from Grant Ambrose. He was using Funnel Kit for the WooCommerce and Funnel Kit for his checkout and everything. And he has like then he was using clearout.io, I think, to verify email addresses on checkout. So you put the email in there, right? And like if if it's like, for instance, like you can kind of see on that thumbnail, even that's kind of small. Like if you miss the L in Gmail, it'll say that it's not a valid email address, and it could even like say like, oh, did you mean something else? Kind of cool. I mean, I could think of a bunch of different use cases for that. So there's a bunch of different cool things there. I think there's a couple other things that I was thinking about. I'm gonna be honest with you, like I was literally like out of the WordPress YouTube scene here for the last like week. I wasn't like really watching too much other stuff. But yeah, a lot of good content. Everybody keep it up. You're all doing great. This is one thing that I saw yesterday come across the feed. Didn't really know what was happening. Didn't know what was going on. You should all probably watch this. If you haven't watched this is kind of an interesting one if you care about kind of what's going on. Apparently, Matt Mullenweg was over at TechCrunch Disrupt, which I don't know if that's like a conference or what they do at TechCrunch there, but it was a really good interview, to be honest with you. Like, and a really good interview by like Connie here, who I don't know, but like Connie, like, she really, like, this was probably the most pressing interview that I've seen Matt Mullenweg have to have about this situation. She wasn't mean, but she was just like she wanted answers. So it was kind of great. Everybody was like looking at his watch too, which was like apparently like a $200,000 watch with like a little aviation thing on it. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great interview. I mean, again, he handled it well. Just like I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll be very interesting to kind of know. But yeah, we'll see like what the public opinion is and everything like that. I mean, she was just really good. Honestly, it was just fun to kind of see her talk about it, because she was like she was basically like taking the position of kind of the public in a sense of not letting him kind of deflect in a lot of ways and actually give answers. And she would like stay on the topic, and she'd be like, a lot of the WordPress community is like concerned and those types of things. And I don't know, just a very interesting interview. If you have 30 minutes, I would probably recommend watching it. It's probably a good use of time there just to kind of see. Other random stuff here was there was a I don't even understand exactly what I was reading when I was skimming through this, but like there was moves to dismiss like the majority of WP Engine's claims like in the lawsuit from Automatic. And I think what they're saying is there's a couple claims that like I don't know what that means. I don't know what dismiss means. I don't, does that mean like we don't agree with it, or does that mean we're gonna settle? I'm not exactly sure, but that was another good, interesting read there. Yeah, and then the only other thing that I feel like kind of compelled to slightly comment on here is this is just the feed here, a lot of shit going on, obviously, but there was one spot, I just saw it kind of like pop up here, is that this type of shit is kind of annoying, because it affects everyone wherever the hell it's at here. Like this is like kind of, this was like in response to somebody asking, I don't know, like it's just been a war on X, which is again can be extremely could be extremely exhausting, but is also something to kind of like I feel like learn from. And this is like who at WordPress is saying this? You know what I mean? Like it's got to be Matt, right? So I mean, it's just this is I mean, do this from your own account. You know what I mean? Like just like I don't know. It's just kind of fucked. Like it's really fucked because anybody that uses WordPress and like feels like they're WordPress is a part of them. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants to be associated with WordPress in this fashion. Like I would love for this to not exist. Like not let's not weaponize the fucking WordPress brand. I mean, I get it in a way, but it's also just like exhausting. It's really just exhausting to kind of see that. And I don't know many. I'll counter it with one way. It's like I do appreciate that the brand itself is kind of like standing behind it, but I know that this definitely isn't coming from some random person inside of WordPress. So it's like how are we like it's if it was a little bit delivered a little differently maybe, but I don't know. If this said Matt Mullenweg up here, if this was his, then I'd be like, okay, well it's somebody having an opinion, but it's like the lines were already blurred between like what's WordPress.com, what's WordPress.org. Apparently people thought that there was lines blurred between like WordPress and WP Engine, which I know very few people that would actually hold that opinion, but apparently there was those lines were blurred, and now it's like to an nth degree where it's almost like something like that kind of like blurs the lines between like what's WordPress and what's Matt Mullenweg. It's just a little. It's a little, you know what I mean? Just, yeah. That post kind of broke my brain this morning. Real bummer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who wrote that. You know what I mean? It's like, it's probably Matt. Like, it's almost like 99.9% Matt, but it's like, it didn't come from Matt. So is it like a way to like shield, like, I don't know, just write that, you know what? Just write it from your own fucking account. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand, but whatever. If you actually feel that way, like I don't know, somebody should press them on that next time they talk, because it's just weird. I don't know. I don't think it's really a good idea to attack your community. Again, I want to make this clear, and then we'll move on to the SureCart thing. I don't I don't think WordPress is going away. I don't think that that's like I think it is possible. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and be the person that's like, oh, everything's too big to fail, too whatever. Like it's not. I don't think it is going away, but I don't think it's impossible for it to go away. I think again that is when you really have issues, when you think you're infallible. Okay, that said, it would take a lot for sure. But what I absolutely do caveat that with is that what does WordPress going away really mean? Like, it's not like it's a centralized thing entirely where, I mean, Automatic does do a lot of the work or whatever, but if nobody is using WordPress or nobody is promoting WordPress, if that continues to go down because of shit like this, right? Like it's like if you kill the WordPress community, how much can you kill the WordPress community before like WordPress itself starts to like actually decline? You know what I mean? It's kind of one way that I would think about that. And I think that that is absolutely what's going on here. Like there is issues in that realm where the WordPress community is kind of being consistently like punched in the mouth and kind of forced out the door in some sort of ways, or it feels like they're not welcome, or they're not heard, or they're just literally being yelled at and argued with. So I don't know. It's kind of an interesting situation. I'm not planning on leaving, but I'm also not planning on leaving all of my eggs in one basket, so to speak. I'm not like building websites on other stuff, but I am exploring other tools and different things. Not as much as Brendan O'Connell is, because he's the master, but I'm definitely just keeping the options open, because I've got a long time to work. I'm only 28. We got a lot more work to be done here, and I wanna keep exploring and doing different things. And this is a very strange time here in this realm. Michael says, if the sites become insecure, have vulnerabilities, then people will leave. Until then, people will be around. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good analysis there. I hope it gets better. I don't know what else to say. We'll continue to report on this sporadically as it happens, because it's a very interesting situation that I can't really control too heavily or have any real impact on per se. But it is something to learn from. I still am behind that. All right, let's talk about SureCart invoicing because I'm extremely excited about that. And yeah, so Adam put out a video. I put that link in the description or in the chat there. And interesting thoughts, interesting implementations. I have some thoughts on it, and it's going to continue to get better. I think Sure Triggers is. Adam replied to my tweet when I put it out the other day, and he said Sure Triggers is going to have an integration with it, so they're kind of working on that. I am personally in between a rock and a hard place because with SureCart, just because I'm almost certain that the production version is 2.4 or something, whatever I'm running right here on this test site. SureCart 2.4.1, right? So this is the one that is the most production level, like so to speak, or whatever, right? If I go to this page, we scroll down to advanced view and we scroll down to the version. So we have 2.4.1, which I'm not even sure if it's fully in here yet or whatever. Or that was like the last one was 2.4.0. If I am actually looking at and testing RC1 because that is the one, like 3.0 is where they're going to have like the custom fields and everything like that. There's a couple other features that I really wanted and really needed. So I started building out with that. But the invoicing, I'm almost certain, is not in there yet. It's only in here. So I think it's all going to kind of get like merged, I guess, when they actually release 3.0 or whatever the actual release one is going to be. But my point is that I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place. I can't really utilize this feature yet because of what I've kind of started, but eventually it'll all be here. But here's the thing about invoices, okay? I have wanted invoices for so long. If you watched the client portal stuff, there is like a very, very good use case and a very unneeded or very needed like piece that is not being filled. I feel like in the WooCommerce space, like you can kind of do it. You can kind of just create an order and then you have like a pay order page. This was one of my things. I did a live stream a while back on SureCart when I was just trying to like play around with it and look at it for the first time seriously. And there was a couple pieces in there that I didn't like. I was like kind of confused about. And I'm using it for a slightly different model now because of where I'm at. I'm kind of using it for more like sponsored content and like I'm looking at a different audience. I'm looking at like brands would be using this. But for the sake of this, I feel like a lot of us here watching are, and myself still included, are more of like, how would I use something like this for potentially web designers, right? Like as a web designer, if you're going to like charge your clients or whatever, I really would like to make another portal series using SureCart rather than WooCommerce because WooCommerce is solid. It's a great ecosystem, but SureCart is gaining ground so fast and WooCommerce is so goddamn expensive. If you're gonna like buy all of those extensions to make something like a client portal work, obviously there's client portal. I think it's clientportal.io with is her name Laura Elizabeth? Just on WP Minute. If I messed up her name, I apologize. But that's a great solution too if you want something out of the box. I'm just more of like let me build something that's custom to me, and I feel like SureCart is like so close with so much of that stuff. And the reason I'm bringing all that up is because invoices is like kind of an integral piece of that, right? So you can imagine a situation where if you're building a website for somebody and you have like a portal type thing, right? We're not going to build the whole portal here, but like if we had a portal type situation, then we could do all of this through our own setup. Obviously we're using like Stripe or something for the payment processing piece, but like all of the information could be housed in like a subdomain of your agency website or something like that, right? So the invoice piece is like, okay, you have maybe they come to your website and they go through a form. You get that information, or they just schedule through like a Calendly or a Late Point or something like that. But you set up a meeting, however you do that. I try to make things as efficient as possible, right? So we're using a Calendly type solution or a late point solution. We're getting information from them from the form. We're scheduling a kickoff. We're scheduling like a synergy session is what I call it, or just like a discovery meeting, right? So you have that 15-minute meeting. Then you go and you're like, okay, we make a decision. It's like, okay, we can give you a proposal, something like that. The proposal piece, you might need to go outside the scope of your website kind of for that. It doesn't all need to be there. It might be like a Panda doc or like just a simple PDF or something like that. You send them a proposal. I have a whole video on this, kind of the way that I did this as well. But you have something like that. They would sign off on it. They would get back to you. The next part would be like how you're actually going to charge them for something. And this is where I feel like this really comes into play. So I'm just going to make up a scenario here and try to play around with invoices and see if you guys, if this resonates at all. So the way that I'm pretty sure you have to do this is you have to go to products. Okay. So if I was doing this, this is like, let's imagine a scenario where, okay, we just got sign off on a proposal for a website, and that website is going to have like a website. It's going to have like development. We're going to build the website out, and we're also going to have a care plan. Okay. So we're going to have website pieces to this, development pieces to it. And then we're also going to have, a recurring subscription. And the way that we want to do this is we want to send them a link, basically, and we want them to open the link up and pay one time for for whatever we need for the development and for the care plan. And we're going to start all of that, and we're going to do it kind of like in an interesting way. There's a bunch of different ways you could do this too. Like, I'm just sitting here thinking about all this, and I'm like, I'm going to try a couple different things here based on how I would do this and see and try to push this experience to the limit, because I think I could make this really, really cool, but I have to see if it's going to work. Can you buy a SureCart LTD and hold on to it without losing it? Maybe. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Michael. I mean, the scale lifetime one, I'm pretty sure is an LTD, so I don't see why you would lose it. Yeah, I think you keep it, right? I think a customer dashboard portal is coming soon. Yeah, so they're gonna have like Sure Dash, which is gonna help tremendously as well. But yeah, I think there's a definite, like, you could. My hope would be that and I think that from what I've seen with Adam, kind of like demoing a little bit, I like when products give you the tools and not give you the actual layout, or they give you the tools to create something. They don't give you, like, Crocoblock's really good at this in certain ways. That they give you like the tools to build something. They don't give you like the exact layout of the thing. They don't make it super restrictive. They're just like, here, go do it. I feel like most products are understanding that nowadays. I feel like in the past it was a little different. Maybe it was just technical limitation, but yeah. So let's take a peek here at what we got here. Hang on a second. Brendan, buy that domain name. Do it right now. All right, so let's see. Okay, already off the bat, I have an idea. I'd like to do website care plan. Let's do bronze. Here's how I would. I'm gonna literally set this shit up how I would if I was actually doing this. So I'm gonna say, just for easy, I'm gonna say bronze. I wonder if you can duplicate products yet. I don't think you can. That's a huge gripe that I have right now, but it is what it is. Let's do save and publish real quick. Why does this keep telling me to complete my setup? What do I need to do? I don't need to complete anything. This is just a test. This is just a test. Okay. I think it'll be fine. All right. So yeah, you still can't duplicate products. Apparently that's coming in 3.0. That's a silly that's a very silly thing that is not there yet, but I'll give them a pass for now. So website care plan, we'll say silver. Okay, don't mean to do that. Let me just copy this shit and publish. And that green bar is going to annoy me, but I'm not going to do that right now. Let's go back to products. Let's do one more, and let's just do gold. So here's the concept that I'm working through right now. The concept is that you would have this as like your database of products. Now, you may be your care plans, okay? Maybe there's a ton of different ways to do care plans, right? You could either do one custom care plan every single time, a different one every single time. You could do one standard care plan that you do for everybody. You could do three care plans that you like offer to everybody. Like there's many different ways. But the concept that I was like always thought of in my head is that I'm at least gonna have one. I really would not go the custom route because it's just too much to manage, too annoying, and you're not gonna know like who has what or whatever. This is probably the standard approach where you just have like three, right? Um, and it just is what it is. Like we have three care plans, and you have like maybe like $100. Normally it goes. There's one good way. Oh, I forgot. You know what I forgot? I forgot to mention Lee Blue did a great interview with Jonathan Stark, and this is why I'm thinking about this right now, is because he has this idea of value based pricing, and it's normally like three tiers of like 1x, 2.2x, and 5x. So for instance, like bronze would be $100, silver would be 220, gold would be 500. Just as an idea, I'm not saying you have to use that. I'm just giving you random information here, okay? But like for website care plan, right? So how would we set these up? We would come down here to pricing. Actually, you know what? Shit. We don't even need three. This is actually fantastic. We don't even need three. I may have already made an unnecessary thing here. Let me try it like this, and then we might delete the three different things. It probably is going to depend on what you want, but you can do three different types of pricing like directly in one product. So let's try it this way. Repeat every month, compare it, don't need that, don't need that. Set up fee or discount, no trial, exclude from upgrade options. Yeah, whatever, okay. So there's bronze. Let's see if we can continue to do this. Let's see if we can do bronze, silver, which is 220, whatever. I don't know exactly how this is going to work out for us yet, so I'm going to try it this way. We may need to do three separate products depending on how we want it. I love that you can do it this way, truthfully. But I don't know if it's going to give us enough information. The trouble for us here, the trouble I feel like right off the bat, I'm always thinking like 16 steps ahead of this shit, is like the trouble here is if you wanted to show like what the difference between bronze, silver, and gold is, I don't know if you can do that with the way that this works. Can you play around with a variant? This stuff isn't really particularly important, but the trouble here is like I wish I could give a little bit more information for bronze, silver, and gold, but it's not particularly important. If I do a full tutorial and everything like that on how to do this, then I will make sure that it like makes more sense. But what I'll do now is I'll just call this website care plan, and I'll say bronze, silver, and gold, whatever. And then we don't need any of this stuff. Variants might get us there a little bit, but it's not really. I mean, this thing even has licensing. It's like crazy. Yeah. What I mean is like it'd be nice if I could have three different descriptions for bronze, silver, and gold. I'm not sure if we can do that yet. If we can't, then I will reach out to Adam and team and see if that works. But anyway, so let's just say we have website care plan, right? That is bronze, silver, or gold. We'll archive these other ones over here. Now here's what the fuck was that? Oh, it switched me over to archive. Okay. That's a little weird. Can we archive that? There we go. Okay, that was weird. All right, so here's one thing that I'm thinking about in my mind. Okay, there's a concept. There's a concept that I thought you could have a bundle. I could be wrong about this though, and maybe this is in the new. Maybe this is in the new one. I wanted to do like a situation where there was like website development, right? I would love to do something like this. Website development. And website development is the full product, right? So like let's think about it like this. Website development $10,000. So it's $10,000 for website development. However, really that is not just like one thing. I mean, you could just say one thing, make it simple. But what I like to do is I've found way more success in breaking it down into kind of like pieces. So it's like discovery, UX, UI, you know, like actual development, whatever. Like, you know, so honestly, I actually never even use this. I usually say like website creation, and this would be one product, and the product would have like multiple products underneath it, or you would have like several products and not even have this main like parent product thing. I thought for sure I saw bundles. Is it in is it in the is it in 3.0? I don't know. Let me take a look at something real quick. I know you can't see what I'm doing here. Let me just check. Let me just go over to the 3.0 one and see if there's a products and like a bundles situation. Could have sworn I saw bundles, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. I know there's collections, but that's kind of like categories. No idea. Okay. Anyway, let's just do this. So if we go to website creation and we go to add a price, we don't need to give it a name. We technically, in many cases here, I would probably want this to be an installment. And let's say 5,000. Well, actually, can we do? We'd want like most of the time I would say two payments. I'd say one right now and one in a month. And I would say like $5,000, but I also wouldn't really want. Let's just do. Let's see if this works. So I put 0 in there just because like I don't need it to be 0. I don't need it to say anything there because that's the default price. We have custom. Okay, All right, let's do this. Now, also, I want to say this, that normally the way that I was using this before was I was using an instant checkout, and I was just kind of like creating one product with a number that I needed, and then just kind of, you know, doing that. Like kind of an instant checkout is, we can kind of show like kind of what this would be. Instant checkout would be just a page that kind of has like just whatever the product is. Obviously, there's not a lot of good information here, but like whatever the product is, and it has the information here, and they could just purchase it. The trouble with that is that wasn't what I wanted, because that was just checking out one specific product. What this is this is kind of a variation on that, where you could create an order essentially and then send an invoice, and then you could just pay that invoice, which is a way better solution in a lot of ways. So let's go to invoices again, and let's do. Also, it's interesting they have a test invoice mode. Not exactly sure why that's incredibly needed, but I'm not mad about it. So website creation, we're going to add that. We're going to change. The reason I put 0 and I put pay as you want is because then you could say whatever you want, right? And in here, how I would do this is I'd probably say like, okay, it's $10,000. And okay, so it's $10,000 every 2 months. Interesting. Okay, so that's a little bit of a weird UI there. I'd probably say like, I guess $5,000 every 2 months. Okay, so website creation, $5,000 every 2 months, and then I would say add another product, and I would put them on. Maybe they want the 220 care plan, so 220 every month. They're on the silver care plan. They're on this website creation thing. This is looking pretty swell so far. You could do a coupon if they had that. You could say request payment like right away. So, or you can ask, you know, set a due date or whatever. I would just say do it right now, and then you can even auto charge them, which is kind of interesting. I'm trying to think in my mind like how the auto charge would. I know how it would work, but I'm not sure if I would do an invoice for an auto charge. But that's neither here nor there right now. The point that I'm making is this is extremely versatile, and this is exactly what I would kind of want here. So we could add a new customer. I don't know, what are we gonna type in here? Mark Szymanski, and what the fuck? Okay, me at markszymanski.co. Cool. All right. So we created that invoice. Beautiful. Interesting how it pulled my face in there. Was that already in there? I don't know. Kind of cool. Create invoice. Okay, so then you can also send an email to the customer, which I don't need to do right now, but that's kind of fun. What I would probably do is I'd probably never normally do that. I'd probably end up like sending an email saying like, hey, this is here's your invoice, da da da, whatever. And then let's see what this looks like. Let's view this. See what we got here. Lit. Okay. So my point in telling you all this, just quickly, is that what you're able to do now, is this has automated all of the bullshit that you may have done before with some of like getting payment methods and things like that. They're going to put a payment method in here and they're going to get charged $5,220 right now. And then in 1 month from today, they're going to get charged the same amount again. And then in 60 days from today, so like the second month, right? They're going to get charged $220 and then so on and so forth for all that because of the way that the flexibility of everything here. So that's pretty dope. I mean, like this is amazing. To try to get this to work in Woo, you at least need the subscription plan. And I hate the way that they do it because like it's not segmented. Like you can use subscriptions for something like this, like an installment, but it's not. It's kind of clunky. This is amazing, honestly. Like this is pretty dope. I'm tempted to like rebuild my whole agency portal using this just because of how slick this is. Now there was these damn product bundles that I thought for sure was a thing, but I could be wrong. So let me just try to look at this for real quick. So now we have this invoice. You can like even look at the receipt and everything like that. Like you can even do it even gives like an actual invoice, which is pretty sick. There was something else that I wanted to I would love for this to be more expanded out with like UX and UI. I mean, you could do it manually and just have all of those things in there. I just wanted to see if there was a way to do bundles, but maybe there's not. I don't know. Could be wrong. I'm gonna have to Google that real quick. SureCart product bundle. There's upgrade groups. I don't know what an upgrade group is. Nope. Wait a minute. Wait. An upgrade group is how you define upgrade and downgrade paths. It's not really what we want. Not really what we want, but let's say, like, just for fun, let's say, like, website creation. Let's just call this service. Whatever. Interesting. Can you add multiple in here? Oh, shit. This is weird. I don't know if this is how you're supposed to use this, but I'm just going to do it for fun real quick just because I can do whatever I want. What I'm trying to do here is like, the concept would be like UX and then save and publish that. The concept is to kind of create like, if you have a very recurring process, but there's personalization from project to project that you kind of need to do, so to speak, then the concept is like create a way where you can have pieces of it in there that look good and function the way that they're supposed to, but you can also customize them on each time you sell a project, so to speak, right? So if your website creation service includes discovery, UX, UI, process is a little annoying, but UI, development, design, like, you know what I mean? Like testing, QA, like whatever those stages are, which I would recommend to have those kind of like spelled out because it's easier that way. Let's just do, if I could spell something, there we go. That's that. And then let me do one more, and I'm going to go see if this upgrade group works. I don't think it's going to work the way that I want it to, but I will absolutely be on them about this because this is like the last piece, so to speak. I think if you really want to have a really cool a really cool situation here. I'm just going to say like testing and launch. So just to simulate kind of like a standard, relatively standard flow, right? Now, all of those would be, ideally, you can set them to be whatever they want. You would say discovery. I wish this actually said bundle. I'd feel better about it. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Doesn't matter. Discovery, I don't know, whatever. Just, it's probably UI, I guess. I don't know. And then, I don't know if I'm going to be able to reorder these, is my issue. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work the way I want it to. But the concept is exactly what I'm talking about here. Is you have a situation where you have this. Why can I not save this? What did I do wrong here? Is it because they don't have any prices, maybe? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into how product groups work. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of weird. I don't know why. Well, I guess it is saved. I don't know. But anywho, that's the concept. There is you would have all of those things as products, and you would never have to like duplicate them or anything. You could just, every single product is the same product. Like when somebody buys a website from you and you create a website, it's like, we're creating a website. It has these 5 stages or whatever. These are this prices for this particular project's stage 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And then that is, it would all display a little bit better, I feel like, on the invoice. And then down here for the care plan, you would have that as recurring. I don't know. It just seems like a really cool, interesting system that could all work really well. Yeah. So I'm excited about this. I'm gonna need to look into a little bit more of the bundling piece. I'm gonna have to. There's definitely not a bundle, right? Definitely not a bundle option. Digital, tax, images, pricing. Could do a collection, like I said, but I don't think that's the right way to do that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they do have it already, and I just don't know where it's at, or what the case is. But I'm not mad about it so far. This is pretty cool. There's order bump. I did see that. You can put that on the invoice as well. Yeah. But I just wanted to kind of give an idea of how I would use this and how I would see literally a ton of people potentially using this. Is just, you can just, boom, right here. You have an invoice, and now everything is like automated and simplified here, and you have so much flexibility, and it's all in one system rather than like even having to get extensions and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know, just some thoughts there. Well, yeah, kind of cool. I think that's a wrap. A lot more to talk about there, but we're just scratching the surface. That literally came out yesterday. So when I have some actual real working examples too, I'll definitely make more content on that. Appreciate all you guys being here. A lot more content coming for, I got some bento stuff coming. I have the Claude video coming. I want to make more videos. I feel like I've been lacking on the videos, not on the lives, but we need to do more videos to just get the content out there. If you guys have any thoughts, questions, or scenarios that you want me to like look into, products you want to check out, definitely let me know. I'll do my best to check those out and give you some good stuff there. But yeah, that's it. Every Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be right here in front of this camera talking to you guys. Greatly appreciate you being here. Happy Halloween. Eat lots of candy, and I will see